It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and this is news that you can use from CarEdge for Tuesday, June 4th, with your host, me, Ray, and the good-looking, tired kid, Zach. How are you today, handsome?
Happy Tuesday, everyone. I'm doing well, Pops. I hope you are doing well as well. You look great in yellow. Today's show is brought to you by CarEdge Concierge Car Buying Service. That mouthful can keep you out of the dealership. We will locate, negotiate, facilitate all aspects of a new or 2019 or newer used vehicle purchase on your behalf. Go check it out, caredge.com/concierge. Last month, Dad, we helped 165 customers take delivery of their vehicle, and on average, we saved them $2,300 in the month of May. Super proud of the work of our team back at caredge.com. The big story this morning.
Yes.
Fake sales, baby. What gets you excited? Fake sales.
Did you say a bake sale? A bake sale? No,
I said fake sale. I said a fake sale. This comes by way of car dealership guy over on Twitter, or X, from a very large dealer in the South. Quote, Stellantis will likely report higher sales for May, but a large percentage of those sales will be dealer sales to themselves, as Stellantis has encouraged us to do. End quote. This is just so dumb. Why not just rip off the Band-Aid and start fresh? And this, Dad, is not the first time an automaker has been purported to have misled the market, themselves, whomever, about fake sales of vehicles. BMW got caught way back when, and they had an $18 million fine from the SEC after they defrauded some investors because they reported vehicles as sold that weren't. Can you demystify this? What the heck is CDG talking about? What are fake sales? Pull the curtain back, baby.
Oh, you want me to pull the curtain back? Fake sales. Okay, your factory rep calls you up and says, whoa, we need to report some cars sold. We'll pay you an extra $500, maybe $1,000. Take 15 cars, report them as service loaners. Or take 15 cars, retail them as demonstrators. Okay, we won't start the clock on the warranty on those cars. It's a special demonstration program. Mini was famous for that. BMW was famous for that, where they, just suddenly, hey, we need you to report cars being sold that, well, they're not actually sold, but just report them being sold. They come off the retail report, and it looks like we sold more cars than we did. Does this really solve any problems? No. Usually it just creates extra problems. Especially in the days when you would do it and the warranty clock would start. And I remember at Mini at one time before they changed when the warranty clock started, I remember selling some new Minis that we had for a year that had been reported as demos for a year that, literally had no miles on them, but only had 2 years of warranty service left, or 3 years of warranty service left, because, well, the first year was wasted just sitting on the lot. So this literally is a form of fraud. And everybody thinks, yeah, but who does it hurt? Well, it hurts the investors, because investors think you're doing better than you really are. Oh my God, look at all the cars you're selling. I need to buy more of that stock. I need to continue to drive that stock price up. Meanwhile, in reality, if it's old and it ain't sold, it's probably a Stellantis product, and they're not selling more cars, in my opinion.
I will say, Dad, this is Stellantis, but this is also other brands as well. We can look at the data. It's actually, so we've got ANIC data from Car Dealership Guy, from someone in his community, a dealer in the Southeast. We've got my dad's prior experience. We've got the fact that BMW got sued for this and was fined. And then we have the data. We are on the CarEdge car search, caredge.com/buy. And what I've filtered to, Dad, are new Rams with more than 500 miles on them right now. If you want to get a pulse for what's going on in terms of demo vehicles that are on dealer lots, this is a way to do it. There are 1,513 new Ram vehicles, trucks, for sale on dealer lots with more than 500 miles. That's Ram. Let's look at Ford real quick. There are 20,000 new Fords, Dad. 20,000 new Fords with more than 500 miles. Holy cow. Just look at this first row from Celebrity Ford of Tom's River. You've got a 2022 Ford Escape that they've had for 440 days with 2,000 miles. You've got a 23 Explorer with 5,000 miles that they've had for 165 days. And you've got a 23 Ford Explorer with 2,900 miles for 120 days. There's no way. So it is Stellantis. It's also a lot of other brands. We'll pull up a few more in just a second. A lot of automakers are doing this right now. They're moving vehicles into service loaner fleet and they're calling them sold retail units, and they're not.
And in many, many cases, they are encouraged by the manufacturer to do it, where the store's factory rep calls and says, we need to report some cars sold. Okay. So they are literally encouraged by the factory to do it when it's beneficial to the factory. I sent you an article the other day about a group of Kia dealerships. I believe it was in New Hampshire, in that area. Dave O'Brien Kia. I think they had 3 or 4 Kia dealerships. Here's the opposite. They were allegedly reporting cars as sold to collect dealer incentive money that were not literally sold, truly weren't sold to a retail customer, moving them from Kia store to Kia store, or reporting them sold to a used car dealer that was a friend of his. And they're suing him because they're saying, well, he collected over $500,000 in illegal financial rewards from Kia for reporting these cars. So here you have a dealer that does it on his own to take advantage of getting some extra money from the manufacturer. And you also have manufacturers who then encourage dealers to report vehicles sold so that they can make their numbers look better. If, at least in my opinion, if that all sounds like it's built on a house of cards, that's only because, well, the whole damn thing is built on a house of cards.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
All right, let's look at a few other automakers, and then I want to go back to some of your experiences when you were in the dealership.
Yes.
So let's just sit with this for a second. It was 1,500 new Rams with more than 500 miles on dealer lots right now. 20,000 new Fords on dealer lots right now. Let's do Toyota. 398. That makes sense. There's not going to be a lot of new Toyotas with more than 500 miles on them right now. Let's do Kia. 887 makes sense. There should be a few more Kias. What about Honda? 493. Like, this all makes sense so far. Give me another brand. What do you think?
Jeep? BMW. You think they stopped doing it just because they got fined $18 million?
Look at that, though. Jeep has 4,261 new cars for sale with more than 500 miles, and BMW has 1,000, which relative to how many they sell is a lot. Let's do Mini, actually, too. I'm very curious to see Mini. Only 49, but Mini doesn't have a ton of inventory. The fact that Ford, let's go back to Ford for a second. The fact that Ford has 20,000 new cars, let's change it. Let's go to over 1,000 miles. What do you think we're going to have here?
I'm not sure.
Dude, that is so messed up. There are 14,236 new Ford vehicles for sale nationwide that have over 1,000 miles. Wait, okay, now humor me. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm going all over the place. But now let me get rid of the mileage filter. There's 443,000 new Fords for sale. So what's that percent? That's like less than 1%, obviously.
That's 1%. It was 14,000. Yeah, so it's about 1%.
I don't think our math's right.
No, it's about 0.5%.
It's about 1/3%. It's about 1/3%. All right, so I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much, but 1/3% extra sales, that's not such a bad thing if I'm Ford. And the dealer obviously is then sitting on that car now in their service loaner fleet that customers drive around. They get dents and dings, then they got to sell them. It's a
and here's the thing about Stellantis, where that dealer said, and look for Stellantis's sales to be way up. Well, if I'm not mistaken, Stellantis won't report their sales till the end of June because they only report quarterly, not monthly. There was a time in the industry when every manufacturer reported sales monthly. And when I say reported sales, they reported retail sales, not the vehicles that they wholesaled to their dealer body, but the cars that were actually sold by their dealer body to the ultimate retail customer. And we used to be able to get those numbers monthly.
Yeah.
And then many of the manufacturers, probably the vast majority of them at this point, have decided, well, we're only going to report those numbers quarterly. Because if they're doing bad, they don't want you to know they're doing bad, but 4 times a year. And it seems to me, if you're an investor, and these are publicly traded companies, as an investor, it almost seems to me as if you'd like to know those numbers on a monthly basis so you can determine how valuable your investment in that particular organization is.
Yeah.
But it's harder and harder to get that information on a consistent basis. It's rather unfortunate.
We should spend a little bit of time today talking about, I want to go to the chat here, but we should spend a bit of time today talking about what a demo car means for a customer going in to negotiate and to buy that vehicle. Like, is a demo or a service loaner vehicle? So let me pause myself for a second.
Okay.
Let's slow down. Anthony asked, how can a new car have 1,000 miles? So if you joined us at the beginning, Anthony, we were talking about there are demonstrators, which are cars that like people at the dealership drive. My dad used to have a demo when he worked at the Acura dealership. And then there are service loaners. So those are vehicles that service customers take out. Yeah.
And there's other ways. And the other ways are some dealerships will select certain cars to be used by customers when they want to be able to drive one of those cars to see if they're interested in buying it. Rather than have a customer drive any car that's on the lot, they might take, for instance, if it's a Ford dealer, they might take one Ford Explorer in the base trim and one Ford Explorer in the top end trim and designate them as demonstrators for their customers to drive who want to drive those type of comparable vehicles. And dealers might leave those in demonstration service like that for 6 months, 8 months at a time. And so you end up with a car that has 1,000 or 1,500 miles on it.
So you've got 3 ways. There are 3 big ways to have a new car end up with more than
service loaners. Service loaners are not sold as new cars because service loaners are actually titled, registered, and have real license plates, not dealer license plates. Okay, so that when a service customer is driving a service loaner, it has a real honest to goodness registration for it. So those, when they're sold, are sold as pre-owned cars. The dealer, when they buy them as service loaners from the manufacturer, buy them at a reduced rate and then continue to write them down for every month that they are in service loaner fleet, so that it encourages them to sell it at a much cheaper price than a brand new one when it's time to sell it.
We actually recently, it was one of the 165 people we helped in May. It was a service loaner Land Rover Defender. So like, and it was a great deal for the customer because it was certified pre-owned. It actually ended up having more warranty coverage than it would have new because it was certified pre-owned on top of the existing, I think it was like 3,000 or 4,000 miles that were on the vehicle. Yeah.
And when I say we as a family at one time, when I was at Acura North Scottsdale in Scottsdale, Arizona, I bought a retired MDX service loaner. And it had 5,000 miles on it. I saved $6,000 or $7,000 as compared to what it would cost me if I had bought a brand new one with 0 miles on it. Okay, and the warranty was better and longer on the certified pre-owned one that I bought than had I bought a brand new one. So there can be times where it is cost efficient to buy a pre-owned service loaner. It was for us, it made, it saved us, like 6-7 grand.
So let's dig into that a little bit. So what is the key takeaway from this? We started today's show with the acknowledgement that the anecdata, the historical, finds that have come down, and your experiences, and then the actual data that we see in the car search today all point to more and more of these demo vehicles, service loaners, or just vehicles, new cars with higher mileage, as dealers, quote, sell them to themselves. So is that actually creating a buying opportunity for us? Like, as consumers, should we be looking at those new or certified pre-owned options as like, you know what, I can save some money because dealers have been playing these games?
I know at BMW and Mini, it saves customers a ton of money. That was one of the things we did at our BMW and Mini stores is the price savings between a brand new one and the retired service owner that might have 2,500 miles on it or 5,000 miles on it, was the savings was so significant that a customer would almost be foolish to pass. And that was the idea. Now, does that take away from selling some brand new cars? It does, but you had already reported this car as a retail sale. So, what goes around comes around. Ultimately, it all sort of kind of evens out.
It's like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, but
Exactly.
then Peter,
it's corporate masturbation.
Well said, Dad. We've got here from Chad. Thank you, Chad, for the kind contribution. Ray deserves a bright banner hanging up behind him. Quote, in my opinion, maybe even with a thumbnail picture of himself with a vein popping out. He has been doing great. Kudos to my dad for remembering to say, in my opinion,
Yes.
Saving us from lawsuits. Pojak, thank you, Pojak, for the kind contribution. I'm curious. Can you tell me the days inventory, the days on lot, or I guess the market days supply of F-150 Lightning compared to the F-150 for dealers? Yeah, let's do it, Pojak. So I'm on the CarEdge car search. We need to know what area we're supposed to be looking in, but I will do F-150. We've got new. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come to engine and drivetrain, and I'm going to select electric. Whoops, it would help if I did F-150 Lightning. There we go. I'll click into one. So this is for Toms River, New Jersey. There's an 89 days supply of the 23 F-150 Lightning. Let me go back. Let's try a 24. There's a 410 days supply. So 23s, we're at what? Like sub 100. 24s are over 400. And now let me go back here. Let me get rid of electric. Let me get rid of Lightning. Let's just go to F-150. Here's a 24. 121 days supply. And I don't see a 23 here, but we could find one eventually. Here's a 23. 83 days supply. So it seems like the electric one pretty conclusively has a higher days supply, Pojak. And you can do that if you have CarEdge Insights. You can do that for any vehicle back on CarEdge.com. You just have to search for it. Pojak, hopefully that helps you. We've got here from David Langle. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
EV leases are going up. Manufacturers are not going to suck it up at the end of the lease. Customers will pay a premium now. Interesting take from David here.
Well,
Appreciate you sharing that with us.
As EV used values plummet,
continue to plummet, yeah,
at almost like the speed of light, they're going to adjust their residuals moving forward. And as residuals go down, payments go up. And whatever lending institutions are doing leases on EVs, whether they be the captive lenders or others, they are all going to take a look at how quickly these vehicles are depreciating, and their residual estimates are going to drop accordingly. So future EV leases are going to be sky high. Can I say one other thing about the fake sales? Reading what sales are available, what manufacturers have reported, and so they're saying that the seasonally adjusted sales rate for the month of May will end up topping 16 million cars, meaning that if we continued at the same rate that sales were in May, there would be over 16 million new cars sold in this country. Now, here's the thing. We have no idea as to what the percentage of those sales reported are not real. So that the 16 million number is as fabricated as the sales numbers. It is hard to draw conclusions based on faulty input. What is it they say? Crap in,
garbage
crap
in,
out.
garbage out.
Garbage in, garbage out. And so if we are relying on fault, we know we are, how do you draw any conclusions as a national publication for the automobile industry, knowing what's going on? How do you even say, oh yeah, we surpassed the $16 million seasonally adjusted sales rate for the? You have no idea what you sold. We have no idea how legitimate these numbers are.
We do know, I'll put you on the spot. Maybe you read it. If you read it, don't answer, but let's get some guesses in the chat. What percentage of sales last month were fleet sales? We know that is the other pressure release valve for the industry. One is what we discussed at the beginning of this, dealers selling cars to themselves. The other is fleet sales. So let's get some guesses in the chat for what percentage of new cars sold last month were fleet sales. We do have that data. Do you have a guess, Brad?
I did not read it. You just want a percentage?
Yes, what percentage?
I would say 23.8%.
All right, so we've got a guess of 23.8% from Papa Shefska. Let's see what some of those guesses in the chat are. We've got 40%, 15%, 15%, 17%, 41%, 25%. Lou is our big winner here. Let's zoom on in. Total light vehicle sales volume was expected to be 1,446,760, up 7% compared with May 2023. JD Power and Global Data estimated in a preliminary report retail sales were estimated to be 1.187 million, up 8.6%, while fleet sales were about 260,000 units, about 18% of total sales. So you've got almost 1 in 5 vehicles sold last month were to fleet customers, and then you have an unknown number of vehicles that were RDR'd, retail delivery reported, sold, quote unquote sold, but as our conversation earlier in the show made it very clear, they were not actually sold to a customer. They were sold to the dealership to be put into service loaner or demo or whatever the heck else they want to do, whatever the programs are at the behest of the OEM. It's fascinating stuff.
And like I say, the information that we're basing all this on is so faulty that how do you draw any legitimate conclusions from it? And you would think, since all of these are publicly traded companies, you would think that there is a fiduciary responsibility on those who run these companies to make sure that the information they are providing the public is accurate. Oh, let me rephrase that. I know there's a fiduciary responsibility for them to do that. And if we all know that they are abdicating their fiduciary responsibility, then there's something for the government to look into.
Again, the proof positive we have here, everything else is just, quotes from anonymous people. But the proof positive we have was BMW years ago paying a fine because they actually, the SEC came down on them for misleading investors. The other proof positive we have is my dad's own experiences. What we had from Car Dealership Guy at the beginning is super interesting, but it's not proof positive. It's someone's anecdote, someone saying, Stellantis, we're going to have higher sales because we sold them to ourselves. And it's like, but we do have some really concrete signs that this is happening out there day in and day out. Who does have a fiduciary responsibility, except I don't think contractually we do, but we try to. CarEdge Concierge Car Buying Service. I'm so proud. 165 customers took delivery from CarEdge last month. Average savings $2,300 $3,500. All right. So that was May. Total, we've averaged closer to $3,000. So it's a little down in May, but we will get that back up here in June. If you're interested, please go check it out. CarEdge.com/concierge. From Matthew Hoskin. Thank you, Matthew. As someone who got a great deal on an ex-loaner certified pre-owned Land Rover Discovery, currently in process of retiring to the citrus orchard, I disagree. Be careful. Could be because you got the Land Rover, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You know, I felt pretty good about it when it was inaccurate. I don't know that I would feel good about it when it's a Land Rover. You know, when even Land Rover people joke that, well, if you want to drive a Land Rover 7 days a week, you need to own two, because one of those two is going to be in the shop each week. So, yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You absolutely got to be careful. We have here, Dad, from William. Thank you, William, for the kind contribution. Dealership has a used Jeep Gladiator listed for over 300 days. Price pretty low, but got the price as the price line. Tried your email scripts with no avail. Any other moves you recommend? All right, so at this point, you've tried to negotiate over the phone, via email. The dealer's not budging on price. What do you do next?
Well, I guess you go into the dealership and actually threaten to take the car off the lot. And what you're going to find out is that vehicle that's been there for 300 days, that's been advertised at this incredibly low price. They ain't selling it at that incredibly low price. That it probably has $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 of dealer installed crap. The $1,995 friends and family, we really like you fee. The $2,900 reconditioning fee. You know.
But you're saying at this point, go in, see what you can do, because if you're threatening to buy it in person, you have more leverage.
Let me help William. Okay, you can go in, you can threaten to buy it. You're going to leave without the car. It's just that simple. The whole thing is a sham. Okay, they're not sitting on a Jeep Gladiator for 300 days. It's advertised at a good price. Okay, if it was advertised at a good price and they were willing to sell it at that price, it would have been gone. So this is just a ploy to get you into the dealership, and you're going to go, oh, they just sold that one. But we got another one that's very similar to it. Let's go take a look at that. It's a scam. It's a scam. In my opinion, more than likely, it's going to turn out to be a scam.
Well done. Very well done there, Pops. Very, very, very impressed with your ability to throw in my opinion. We've got here from Dreadnought. Thank you, Dreadnought. Does CarEdge have a glossary for car lingo? We do. We 100% do. So I'm going to show everyone really quick. If you go to CarEdge.com, and then up here on the top right, there's resources. Everything under resources is 100% free. Like, for example, did you know we have Deal School, which is a video and quiz, an entire content series about how to negotiate your own car deal? 100% for free. You do now. Dealer reviews, 100% for free. Anyway, where I'm headed here is I am going to go to free guides. And then on free guides, I'm going to scroll down to the search. On the search, I'm going to do lingo. And then I get the Car Buyer's Glossary of Terms, Lingo, and Jargon. You can also Google search this, and it'll pop right up as well. Just Google search CarEdge lingo, and that should pop right up for you as well. So there you go. That is a free resource that is super helpful and breaks down all of the lingo you would hear at a car dealership and need to know. We've got from MC here.
May I say one thing about lingo? If you ever go into a dealership and you're buying a car and you overhear them say, my God, he was a laydown, that's not a good thing to hear. That means that you gave up way too easy and they made a fortune on you. Just saying.
That one is in the glossary of terms. So yeah, check it out. We've got here from MC. I'm in the market for a Hemi Charger. Do you think Hellcat Chargers are worth MSRP? What's your target OTD pricing on one? What about scat packs? I know dealers are still charging an arm and a leg for these things, but let's go do what we always do, Dad. Let's see what we've got back on the Edge. That's CarEdge. So let's see, MC. You said that was a new Hemi Charger or a scat pack. So let's see. Dodge Charger. Let's go to trim. Actually, there's a scat pack right there. Let's take a peek. Cool looking car.
Yes.
So it looks like the target discount on this is $2,500 from MSRP. So that's what you should be shooting for as the dealer discount. So it looks like our algorithm, our team, yeah, especially based on market day supply and things like that, MC, you should be seeking out a discount. I don't think you're going to be breaking the bank though on one of these scat packs. I know they're still fairly like.
Well, it's
People
because
want
it's
them.
the last of them.
Yeah.
It's the last. The next ones, will be EVs that they add a sound to make it sound like it's a gas powered Hemi engine vehicle.
Shoot for at least 2,500 off, MC. Chloe8bo helping Pops get in shape for the summer.
Yeah, buddy. Boom. Oh, I'm rolling. Oh yeah, he's skating. Okay, there we go.
Thank you for supporting us, folks. I mean, it's just wild to me. We've got here from Igor, Scat Pack Chargers, 5 to 6% pre-incentive. So yeah, I think the $2,500 is probably a pretty good benchmark because that was a $68,000 MSRP Scat Pack we were just looking at. So that, we were saying $2,500 off. So I think we're right on the money, Igor. All right, Pops, we've got plenty other comments here in the chat.
Yes.
Let's pull up one more here from Igor. He says, once you punch the car, RDR, the warranty starts. Every new car must be punched RDR once it's sold to customers. So we were talking about that earlier. Some pros and cons to what can happen when dealers do what they're doing right now. And we've got some other perspective. My wife always had a demo, and I gave my daughter a demo as well. Dealer principals sometimes give demos to family members too. So there can be a lot of cars, depending on how many kids there are for the dealer principal that go into demo.
I worked with a guy that, unbeknownst to our area vice president, actually gave his pastor a demo. Because
what ended up happening there?
I'm not getting involved. I don't know. But I guess the theory was, well, God wanted them to have a really nice car that they didn't have to pay for. So I don't know. But yes.
Free ticket to heaven.
Could have been.
Funny, man.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
I didn't do it.
Yeah, whoever did that. Yeah. That wasn't you.
Yeah.
Wasn't you.
Oh my God.
All right, folks, final reminder, if we can help you out with anything, CarEdge.com. Scroll back up to the top here. We've got so much. One thing in particular I want to mention, CarEdge.com/sell. Many new dealer partners have been added to the dealer network. You have to create an account to get all of the offers. It's a requirement from some of the new dealer partners. But that being said, all you have to do is enter either your vehicle's license plate or the VIN of the vehicle you have to sell or trade in. And before you sell a vehicle to a dealership, use CarEdge.com/sell. Get multiple offers from competing dealers all in one place. And that is 100% free. Again, create an account to get all of the offers. Please, please, please. Now, Dad, from Rich Diana, sending us out. Ray just burnt off 1/3 of a calorie. You go, Dad. Proud of my father. Absolutely proud of my father.
Hey, 1/3 of a calorie is 1/3 of a calorie. It's, maybe we can get the 2/3. I don't know. Maybe I can do the whole show like this. It's kind of herky jerky. May I pass on an accolade to you, my son. Yesterday, we did a photo shoot here in Ventnor, New Jersey. As you know, Zach lives in D.C. Right after the show yesterday, he hopped on a train in Washington to Philadelphia, and then there was the commuter train from Philadelphia to Atlantic City. I picked him up at Atlantic City. At 5:30, we did the photo shoot. At 7:50, we were done with the photo shoot. At 7:55, he walked over to the local CVS to pick up some snacks. Major thunderstorm broke out. Hired an Uber to drive him to Philadelphia so he could catch the 9:30 train back to Washington last night. And I think it was at 11:30, I got a text from him that said, "I'm home." That is quite the commitment to be photographed. And may I say, you are extremely photogenic as well.
Thank you, Dad.
You don't hurt the camera as much as my face does.
We got some pretty funny photos. There are some dad headlocking son photos, which I
Yeah.
think we'll really enjoy using in the future. So stay tuned. New thumbnails coming soon. Dad, thanks for acknowledging. I feel tired today. I feel a little draggy, and I think it's because of that. And
Yeah.
I'm also energized. The most energized I've been all day was doing this show with you. So thank you for that. And thank you to everyone who tunes in and joins us for these things. It means the world to us. And thank you to everyone that supports our business. That also means the world
absolutely.
to us. Okay, I'm going to go get lunch. You look
Okay.
so summery today. You look like delectable. You know, you look like a slice of lemon or something. Just want to squeeze you.
I'm an edible. I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like that, but I feel good. I feel bright. I feel full of energy, because it's another beautiful day here at the Jersey Shore, and this is why.
One thing real quick before we go from Scott. It's don't know. Good afternoon, Razak. I applied to be a CarEdge concierge and haven't heard anything back. Is there anyone I can call, email, to follow up with on my application? Okay, so please, careers@caredge.com. Please follow up. We got inundated and overwhelmed, and we were prioritizing candidates who have a little bit more experience in the auto industry. Now, that being said, we have process systems, things are getting better. So if you don't have prior auto experience, we were really targeting people who worked at CarMax before because they were very friendly with customers and really, really good with our community. But anyway, email careers@caredge.com if you haven't heard back. And our apologies, we got overwhelmed. We are hiring HRs soon. So that's a fun thing. If anyone here, we have an HR position that's opening soon. I'll be promoting on this YouTube show to hire for that, an HR manager. So if anyone knows anyone, we're going to need help there.
Just so everybody understands, the day the HR person starts will be my last day at the company. Because they're going to watch this stuff and they're going to go, no good. Yeah, we got to get rid of them. Zach,
again, we will have
to fire your dad, but
we will have a job description. We will have a job description probably next week. We're gonna have two roles that we're hiring for: an accounting manager and an HR manager. There's a handful of other roles too, but those are we need those two. So anyway, just if you know anyone or just start thinking about it, we will need help getting the best possible people for those two roles. From Cloapo, thank you, Cloapo. Come on, Ray was rocking the CarEdge shirt and family thought it was a movie star. So actually, the shirts we ordered my dad were too small.
Or another way of saying it is your dad was too fat for the shirts.
I think you look great. So unfortunately, my dad was not wearing any CarEdge merch or CarEdge branded gear, but I was repping it all. We'll have to do another photo shoot with.
And you know how you know how so many of our thumbnails say it's over, it's done. Mm-hmm, the day that HR person starts, you can just have a picture of me in the thumbnail. I'll read, "It's over, he's done."
We're doing the best we can, folks. We're doing the best we can. All right, we will be back tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and joining us. 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. here on the East Coast. Dad, I love you. Enjoy the beautiful afternoon. And we'll see you all back here tomorrow.
I love you, too. Get some rest. Have a great day. And indeed, I'll see you tomorrow morning because we're going to film some videos.
Love it. See you then, Pops.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.